Back here on the Columbia College Cougars Coaches Show, Mediacom Channel 22. You can also watch other episodes archived on the website columbiacougars.com. With us now, former Cougar player and current assistant coach for Columbia College in his first year as an assistant this time around, I guess, to be correct, if I can get the resume stat correct. Drew Grisella, welcome. Thank you. Appreciate you coming on here. And yeah, you played for Coach Burchard 98, 2000. An NAIA Scholar Athlete of the Year. Talk a little bit about your time as a player for Columbia College.
It's quite a while ago. Let's start with that. Life changes as you go through that. It's about 12 years ago now. A lot's changed at Columbia College, and I think a lot has changed with the program itself. You know, I think as Coach will talk about kind of the history of the program and where it's started and gone through the process of getting where it has been over the last several years, I'm kind of in the middle. You know, of where it once started, and as it kept progressing forward to the last several years where they've had great success. And so it's nice to be a part of that, and it's nice to be back because I got to be a part of two different, I guess, eras, you know,
and
a little while ago and now.
And as an assistant at that time, your cohort now on the assistant sideline, Sean Dooley was a player at that time still, and now you guys are both assistant Coach Burchard here again on the sidelines at Columbia College.
Yeah, we have a very good relationship. Again, we've going back now 10 years, been in contact ever since I was an assistant, helping out when Sean was playing, and then even moving on from there, we stayed in great contact, and a lot of similarities with our families and such. So it's nice to be back and be around people that you know.
And Coach Burchard mentioned in the last segment a little bit talking about the breakdown of a conference play, especially in the AMC conference, where again it's like family in a way, where all these teams, you know, you start playing the same teams, and not just basketball, but all the sports, and you know, you build the rivalries. You know, he's looking at immediate, and you guys have a chance to kind of look a little bit ahead and talk about your role in that regard as far as what you bring to the table, not only on game day, but in the prep for those game days.
It's kind of interesting in that aspect, just changing over from being a head coach the last few years, moving over here and getting a chance to assist, and your role changes, and that's very interesting and very fun. You know, one of the things I really enjoy doing, I really like scouting opponents, I really like game planning, I really like coming up with ideas of where we need to go to be successful, and so being here, it's really given me an opportunity to get back to doing that and not looking at big picture things as much as it is focusing on little things that can help make us better. So scouting is one of the things that I really work on, as well as kind of day-to-day things within practice and on-court stuff.
And scouting now, you know, in this day and age of you know, the mass media and all, you know, I mean, it's probably a little bit easier to some degree as far as game tape goes a little bit, but do you like, you're one of those kind of coaches that gets just immersed in game tape, trying to break things down to help your guys on the sideline?
Yes and no. Yes and no. I'd say the way that the conference is now, they have a tape exchange that's all online, and so you, like Coach said before, everybody has instant access to all kinds of film. So you kind of have to pick and choose games that you think will be applicable, because otherwise, like you said, you'll get just immersed in too much and just get overloaded. So you just try to pick and choose some films you think will help you, and then just move on from there, and then try to see if it'll actually help you.
Well, and even we've talked about it not just with Coach Burchard, but also with Coach Mike Davis of the women's team. You can almost go back to some of your non-con games and say, okay, this school plays a similar style or has a similar kind of point guard that Mobab does or Harris Stowe does, and make some comparisons a little bit of how you did in that game to help, you know, prepare your guys to take the court.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that just as Coach talks a lot about, is just kind of progressing through a season and understanding you're going to have to play all sorts of different teams, and just within conference, you're going to have to play all sorts of different teams and styles, and so you kind of know going into a game what you're up against and how you need to prepare and what you really need to do as a team to be successful. So it is fun from a preparation standpoint to get to do that, you know, because you get to be a game planner, you get to be an idea person, and luckily this year most of those have turned out on a good side.
Say 17-3, 4-1, top 25. That's going good.
Yeah.
In a practice setting at Southwell Complex, when you guys are in a practice situation, take us through what your role is in those hour, 2 hours, depending on 3 hours, maybe whatever the practice time may be. What is Coach Grisella's role?
a lot of it's been trying to pick apart things that we do. We really don't deviate a lot from what we do in terms of we haven't, we're not throwing in a new play, a new wrinkle every day. So a lot of it's just repetition, repetition, and making sure guys are doing a lot of the little things at a real high level. Because when you get to this point of the season, those are the things that separate you from being a okay team or a good team or potentially a great team. And so I get to kind of deal with the players on that, a lot of critiquing. A lot of guys come to the sideline and say, hey, you didn't do this right. Remember, this is why we do it, not just, hey, you didn't do it right. This is why we do it, and do you see where it sets you up? And you get a lot of, oh, yeah. and that's important, though, because it's another set of eyes and ears. You know, Coach and Sean and I have different things we look at, different things we focus on. You know, sometimes Coach will look at a big picture of how we're doing as a group, and Sean and I'll pick apart a different aspect of what we're doing. So it ends up being a great relationship that we're seeing different things and get back together and talk and see, you know, what'd you see, and you know, it allows us to have a lot of information, which is a big part of it.
And as we talked about previously, in a game like the one the other night against Mobap, or in a lot of it's kind of been a similar style to the way the game is played early on, different tests, and then you kind of are able to pull away at the end and adjust on the, not just on the fly, because you guys do have a wave of players in different skill sets that you can really interchange and bring different guys in.
Yeah, I think that's something we focused on a lot, is being very versatile and knowing that tonight might not be, you know, a certain player's night, but for what we're trying to accomplish as a group, we need you, or we need you, and us working together does a really good job of getting to that. You know, problem solving. It's one of the things Coach talks a lot about, is we're just trying to problem solve. That's really what all basketball is. You work through a game, you're problem solving, you're figuring out new things to help you be successful. And you know, luckily we've been pretty successful this far doing that and changing things up as we go. We're
going to bring head coach Bob Burchard out, and the three of us will talk a little bit, but you flash back to the beginning of practice time, and not only were you a new face to some in the building, but so many new faces on the players' side, and trying to fit that chemistry and where things were going to go. And now you flash forward to here we are, wrapping up almost the month of January, and things are going, knock on wood, very well for Columbia College basketball. We'll take a quick break, come back with head coach Bob Burchard as well as assistant coach Drew Grisella on the Columbia College Coaches Show here on Mediacom Channel 22.